It was just after midnight. A long-haul trucker headed north on Highway 59 deep in the piney woods between Shepherd and Corrigan. You know, that part of the road where the trees lean in close and the fog clings to your windshield like a second skin. Rain had just let up, leaving the road slick and steaming. And that's when he saw her. She didn't wave, she didn't move, she just stared straight into his headlights. Now this is Southeast Texas. We don't pass someone like that without stopping. And he did. He pulled off to the side, threw it in park, reached over to roll his window down, but by the time he looked back up, she was gone. No footprints, no rustle in the brush, just the fog rolling in, a little thicker than before. He stepped out, called out for her, but there was nothing. Just the sound of his own boots on wet gravel and the hum of a road that suddenly felt a whole lot lonelier. Hey y'all, it's Kaylin, and welcome back to Tales from the Thicket. Tonight's story is one you'll hear only if you spend time on these back roads, swapping stories over coffee at a truck stop or waiting out a storm in a diner booth. We're heading down Highway 59 to talk about the spirit some folks swear they've seen. A young woman who appears when the mist rolls in and vanishes before you can blink. They call her the Phantom Hitchhiker. Every legend's got a beginning. And if you ask around in the little towns dotting Highway 59, like Corrigan, Shepherd, or Livingston, you'll hear a few different versions of who the Phantom Hitchhiker might be. Some say she was a young bride on her way to Houston, taken too soon by a tragic accident. Others whisper about a college student who never made it back to campus. And there was even a real wreck back in 1972, the same night that Debbie vanished. A one-car accident just past mile marker 423. The driver survived. The passenger, gone without a trace. And ever since that night, sightings have been piling up. Truckers, locals, deputies, all claiming they've seen someone barefoot, soaked, and silent, standing exactly where she went missing. If you ever find yourself in a diner off Highway 59, maybe grabbing a slice of pie and a coffee, don't be shy about asking the locals if they've ever heard about her. Chances are you'll get more than a few nods and maybe even a story or two. There's the tale of old Mr. Jenkins, who swears he picked up a young woman just outside of Corrigan back in the late 80s. She was polite, quiet, and asked for a ride to a house just a few miles up the road. But when he pulled into the driveway and turned to tell her they'd arrived, the seat was empty. When he knocked on the door, an older woman answered and simply smiled, saying, "You're not the first one to bring her home." Then she quietly closed the door. And here's what really kicked off this episode for me. A friend of mine, someone who knows I'm into these supernatural stories, sent me a dash cam clip that they saw in a local Facebook group. Said, "You're going to love this. Feels like something right out of your Thicket tales." At first, it just looked like highway footage at night. Nothing unusual. But then, around the 10-second mark, you see her. Barely. The camera flickers just enough to catch something standing on the shoulder past mile marker 423. It's hard to make out at first, kind of a faint shape in the fog. Then the headlights catch her dress for just a second. She's barefoot, soaked, frozen still, just staring off into the trees. Now, it was so quick, so unnatural, The guy who posted it initially thought maybe it was just a glitch or a prank, maybe some kind of weird TikTok thing. He drove on, trying to shake the image, but he couldn't stop thinking about it. That strange, still figure. So a few minutes later, maybe 3, 4 at the most, that unease got the better of him. He turned around and went back to check. But when he got there, she was gone. No one on the road, no footprints in the gravel, no sign anyone had ever been there. The video got deleted later that night, but not before the comments blew up. People sharing their own encounters, their own chills down the spine. And more than one person said they'd seen the same thing, same spot, same look, same empty silence. Locals just call her Debbie now, no last name. But folks who've been around here long enough remember the night she disappeared. It was prom night, spring of 1972. She was just 17, wore a pale blue dress with pearl buttons and a silver charm bracelet that jingled when she danced. She went with a boy from a nearby town. Nothing serious. But he got kicked out halfway through the dance for sneaking liquor behind the gym. So Debbie caught a ride home with a friend. They never made it. Somewhere just past Corrigan, the car ran off the road, skidded on a patch of wet pavement, and flipped into a shallow ravine near mile marker 423. The driver survived, barely. But when help arrived, Debbie was gone. No body, no blood, no trail into the woods. Just the car and her charm bracelet tangled in the grass by the passenger side door. The friend never spoke much about what happened. She said she blacked out, doesn't remember anything after the music ended. But the whispers started, just like the sightings. But after that night, folks started seeing her, a girl in a prom dress standing barefoot on the side of the road, soaked, silent, and still, and always, always near the same bend in the highway. Her mama used to leave the porch light on every night for almost a decade. Said she just couldn't bring herself to turn it off. Some say Debbie's still trying to find her way back, still trying to get home. And maybe that light was the only thing she could ever see through the fog. Now, I'll be honest with you. The Phantom Hitchhiker of Highway 59, she's not the only one of her kind. All across Texas and even beyond, you'll hear stories that sound very familiar. Up in Dallas, they've got the Lady of White Rock Lake. Over in the hill country, folks whisper about the Devil's Backbone. And then there's Resurrection Mary all the way in Chicago. So yeah, stories like this aren't exactly new, but that doesn't make this one any less real. In fact, I'd argue it makes it more believable, because these legends don't keep showing up over and over unless there's something behind them. But here's where our story stands apart, because around here, she's not just the hitchhiker. She's got a name, Debbie, and that makes her feel a whole lot closer to home. Some roads don't forget, and neither do we. All right, Thicket Walkers, time for your tales in the comments. Hit me with your wildest Highway 59 experience. What would you do if you saw Debbie? And just for fun, what's your go-to ghost-proof road trip snack? Mine's pickle-flavored peanuts. Ghosts hate them. If you've got a story, I want to hear it. And hey, if you spotted Ashroot hiding in tonight's episode, don't forget to call it out in the comments. First one to get it right gets a shout out and a pin at the top. And if this story gave you chills or made you want to check your back seat, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. It helps this channel grow and keeps these Pineywood legends alive. Until next time, I'm Kaylin, and you never know what's waiting out there just past the curve.